Look at my Star Trek toys! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys. It's a little show where I, Keith Varney, show my buddy Mike and Deglio a bunch of Star Trek toys. And today, boy, I have two things. Mm-hmm. One, I'm very excited about this.
Okay.
This is going to be really, really fun. And two, I'm about to make a very poor financial decision.
Oh my goodness, isn't that I thought that was my role.
Well, look, you make it on the regular. Mm-hmm. For me, this is a rare thing for me to do, but we're all going to do it together on camera. Anyway, well, if that's not a tease to stick around, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that seems what?
So how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing okay. Still sound a little crummy. Mm-hmm. It's funny when we shoot this show because Peek Behind the Curtain, generally we shoot a couple together, and
we do.
So you're never sure when they're going to air, and I always start thinking about when they're going to air, even though it doesn't really matter. Anyway, point of the story is I was walking back downstairs, and I was like, I saw my vape pen sitting there, and I was like, oh, well, it's the weekend. I was like, maybe I'll hit this before we go down and look at toys. Then I realized it's noon on Friday.
On a work day.
100% work. And I was like, okay, so no. But that's where my brain goes. I think it's a fun weekend whenever we're shooting toys. Even though we never shoot on the weekend, so I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't know what is going on over there.
But this is almost a momentous show, Keith, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. That's right. Our next episode will be our 4th anniversary episode, which also coincides with our 200th episode of Toys. I can't believe it. We will talk all about it next week. And then keep your butts. 201, even more exciting. But I'm not going to say what it is yet.
Is that already that soon? No, not that.
Yeah.
That?
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
So
things are getting real.
Keep your butts, folks.
Yeah,
Lots of exciting stuff coming up on Look at My Star Trek Toys. If you would like to join us,
please do.
In our phenomenal community of folks supporting the show, you can do so at patreon.com/K&M and join our fine folks on our Patreon.
Do you know what happened the other day, Keith?
What's that?
For those of you who just watched our toy show, which is totally cool, we also are currently working our way through Deep Space Nine. We've already done the first 2 seasons of Strange New Worlds. We'll be doing that in the summer. Season 3 is coming out, and then we're moving on to Voyager. Lots of Trek. You're never getting rid of us. But generally, the day or two after we release an episode, people start to write in on the YouTube comments, and usually I'll jump in and chime in and make some responses. I went to do that, and before I can make my first response to a comment, I recognized a whole conversation had already taken place betwixt viewers of the show, and I don't know how to explain how that makes me feel.
I mean, we have our little beautiful community here, it is incredibly wonderful. And on our Patreon, that conversation is going full time.
I know it's really wonderful. Please do join. In fact, I love our little community, and anytime one of our videos breaks through and gets a couple extra views for, like, if it's about a toy release or something, that's when people get shitty. When it's just us inside our own house.
In our safe little family on patreon.com/K&M. Everybody is nice. And if they're not, we'll boot you.
Yeah.
So there you go. We are a nice community. So now it is time to make that entire nice community cringe. Let's go over to Toy Cam and see what we're opening today.
Oh boy.
We are opening the Art Asylum Commander T'Pol bridge set from the Broken Bow series of Star Trek Enterprise.
Cool.
And the reason everybody is going to cringe is this is a limited edition box set that I just looked up on eBay. Going, somewhere in the $200 range.
Oh, and now I see the cringe because we're going to open it.
We are going to open it. So if you look at it, it is still factory sealed. There is absolutely this has never been touched or opened. I did buy it. You know what? This is why you keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace, because somebody was just selling a tub of random Star Trek nonsense. And so in that there was like 5 Art Asylum figures. We did the Archer one from that same line. and a bunch of other random stuff. And it was not $200 for all of it. And I literally was like, this is worth more than that. Would you like more money? He's like, nah, man, just get it out of my house.
I'll tell you
I was
this.
like, okay.
Some people would scalp this, Keith, but not Keith Varney. He's making content.
No, well, look, this is. I think in the almost 4 years we have been doing this, we've proven we're not for profit. So,
And that status can be taken away at any time, Keith.
well, I mean, we still pay taxes, so
Yeah,
we are unfortunately we're not quite officially a charitable organization. However, let's take a look at this so that everybody who has a copy of this, who has kept it for their investments, a wise decision, you can see and get the entire unboxing experience here with us.
Yeah, the only thing you don't get is that smell of old box.
So this is from, thanks to our good friend over at Wixaban.com, who doesn't know that we're friends, but I consider us friends because I use it as the best resource on Star Trek toys out there. Wixaban.com. This came out in 2003 to coincide with the pilot of Enterprise. And so they built out a bridge set on these deluxe things that they were sort of building out, and they did it to Paul, and they did a Malcolm Reed, and they did a Jonathan Archer. The Archer I have right here next to me, which we opened on a previous video. We'll put a link in the bio so that we can connect them because they all connect.
So you had to get the limited edition stuff in order to complete the set?
Well, T'Pol was the only one that was limited edition. The other two were more available. But the problem is there were going to be 4 pieces to complete it, and they never released the Merryweather 4th one. So there's images of a prototype out there, but they've never released it. So you cannot
Someone's
ever
3D
complete
printed
this
it,
one.
though.
I'm sure somebody has 3D printed. If not, they've worked on it. So anyway, so here it is in the box. We can see it's Art Asylum. So we've got our little challenge coin on the side here, and you can see what the box looks like. It gets a little too close here on this.
No, that's good.
Well, you can see there, but featuring action sounds and authentic detail. And look, I did my homework this time, so we're going to be able to hear those action sounds, even though the batteries are dead on this in the box. But we can see as it all came out, and on the back, you can see all that they released in that first wave, including most of the bridge crew. Most of these from the first episode, and so we can see here. So I have Archer. I now have T'Pol. I need to get Reed, but you cannot get Merryweather, even though they announced it here on this box. And so this was the beginning of Art Asylum's fun stuff. Also have to get the ship and the phaser. That'd be really cool. But those are hard to collect them all, even though they say to. So yeah. So there we go with the box.
Wow, that's really cool graphic design.
Yeah, well, it's
like a cartoon box. It's the more is more.
Well, you know what it is? It's very 2003.
Yeah,
and so like the design of like the early 2000s was very sort of large and aggressive, because and I don't, obviously it doesn't apply.
If I'm not
to
mistaken,
a box
didn't
like
we
this.
meet in 2003 as well, Keith?
We did.
Yeah,
we could have gone to the store together on tour, maybe in Bruton, Alabama, and gotten our hands on a copy of this and taken it on the bus. Couldn't afford groceries at the time. I ate for the most of that tour fluffernutter sandwiches that I kept in a trash bag over my seat.
What I remember most about that tour is sitting next to this guy and watching, you ready for this, Nip Tuck on DVD in his first white, remember those white MacBooks that had the DVD insert? We watched the whole series of Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck. Oh, that was the beginning of Nip Tuck. Nip Tuck went much longer than that, I think. All right, folks, we have broken the seal. So here we go. Let me not cut my face off with my knife here.
Wasn't Nip Tuck Breaking Bad guy?
No, it was Ryan Murphy, wasn't it?
Ryan Murphy, right. That's
all right. So let's
Another auteur of our time, Keith.
Indeed. All right. So here we are. I did it. There it is. I think I just lost at least $100.
It's cool. I see a lot of seatbelts.
That was a very expensive cut. So first off, let's take a look at our little challenge coin here, which they gave out for all these. I wonder if they still did. Folks, did they, as they continued the Art Asylum things, did they keep having the coins in there? I don't really know.
I half expected someone to actually call in and answer.
That's right. Well, maybe we should do one of these live for the patrons at some point.
That'd be cool.
That would be kind of fun.
I think my computer's smoking as it is. I don't know how that would work.
Okay, so here we are. There is the coin, the Enterprise. And on the back, there it is. Art Asylum, Seal of Insanity.
That's cool. Psycho Toys.
For crazy kids. Well, we are indeed crazy kids. Just have lived a very, very rough 14 years. Been very, very rough. All right, so we're going to take this out. So on the back, it's just a sort of display thingy, which actually would work well as sort of a diorama if you put a figure. See, if I put Archer here, kind of cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's like not a bad...
I love a diorama. I'm super jealous of a patron, Josh Cronin. His whole whole room in his house is just dioramas. Astounding. It's awesome.
Astounding.
My favorite projects in school. Everybody wanted to do posters. I was like, no, let's make a diorama.
Oh, I'd made some amazing dioramas with you put in Christmas lights so you can make them light up.
My mom never let us keep them though. Whenever it was over, they were done.
Hey, your mom had some interesting choices.
Yeah,
how else would you have ended up here?
Yeah, that's fair.
So
you can't take my toys away now.
We've Kiss, Iron Maiden, Dark Angel. Remember Dark Angel on Fox?
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Biel? No, Jessica Biel.
Alba.
Jessica Alba. Yeah. There it is. We have some instructions. But I feel like I can probably make it happen. But let's see. Let's see if I can do this without the instructions.
The question always when we get to these portions of the show is, and this is what I internally ask, is Keith do this in a way that does not necessitate speed up music with beats and fast forward time, or will I have to do post?
Have you seen how many seatbelts are on this? You know what? If you give us some live beat music, then we won't need to.
The design of the office, the only mistake I made, as you'll find Sunday, Keith, is that I did not put any, from where I'm sitting at my streaming desk, there is no instrument handy.
You don't need an instrument. You're the instrument. You mean, it's 2003. You got a beatbox. You can do this.
All right. Since you asked.
Very 2003.
Baby, when we're grinding, I get so excited. Ooh, Star Trek toys making hard for me. What do you think? Did that do it?
The seatbelts are still on. We're going to need a second verse.
Keith, when we're dancing real close, it feels like that seatbelt's real tight.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. All right. Well, here's our rail seatbelt. Not the sturdiest.
No. It does beg the question. When we were going through puberty in that period of time, why was that also the time when sweatpants were in? It made classes with my crushes challenging.
This is really upsetting for a lot of different reasons, but that voice modulator definitely not helping.
Well, that was giving you the insight to what 12-year-old Mike sounded like. Well, pretty much up to 18, I sounded like that. It took a long time for me to develop any sort of
but here I'll
baritone.
Give you this. The sweatpants of it all, in 2003 specifically, speaks to a certain fashion sense that I did not have.
When did you start wearing corduroys all the time, or jeans? What was your...
Oh, all right, so I never wore corduroys because that wouldn't be cool, right?
Which my mom didn't call. My mom called those dungarees. But if I'm not mistaken, dungarees were a type of jeans.
I think so. I think they were like, weren't they like the overall jean dealies?
I thought that was Oshkosh Bagosh. What was a dungaree?
Well, I think they were sort of competing of the same thing.
Not to be mistaken with the Dunkaroo.
Dunkaroo. Yeah, I never had access to
No, you're
those.
right. Dungarees, I'm seeing some sort of like an overall adjacent thing.
Yeah. See, for me, all right, I was a weird, pretentious, autistic child.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically, most of the way through high school, I would not wear jeans because jeans were like, I don't know, beneath. So I wore like bad pleated khakis with a usually a mock turtleneck or a Phil Simms jersey, either one of which very weird and uncomfortable. But I would wear a purple mock turtleneck for much of my, and then I wore jeans at some point. But
Yeah, looking back in the albums, my sort of the things that make me sad looking back are that, first of all, from like the late 80s through basically the late 90s, like you just mentioned, my family allowed, my mom made me or allowed me or only gave me like a lot of pleated pants, pleated jeans.
it was
pleated,
the thing, man.
Was it the thing, or were they just hand-me-downs from my brother from the 70s?
No, you couldn't have pants that weren't pleated in the 90s.
Well, it was a lot of pleats.
A lot of pleats.
And also, like, I always was, whenever I'm at the beach or like in a pool or something, I'm always wearing a t-shirt. Like, I don't know when like body shaming began, but it must have been early because I was always wearing a t-shirt.
Oh my God, no! I fundamentally, I body shaved myself at like 4.
I know I never did myself until later, but it was definitely happening to me, I think.
Well, I had help in the,
Yeah.
I had assistance in the body shaming degree. So
Do you think
Not
now
to
when we were
worry.
kids and playing with toys and open, like, I don't know that we were having psychotherapy conversations. Maybe we were. Did we talk about our feelings when we were playing with? I didn't have a ton of friends. I had a
you
few.
didn't have a lot of feelings. That was really the problem.
You know, in the 80s through in the 90s, Keith, my best buddy is like back in my life now. Our friend Ronnie, who I'm sure you'll see on the channel at some point.
I'm going to see him tomorrow.
We were like best friends. He was my first best friend. We met in kindergarten. We Mrs. Place's first grade kindergarten class, and I was crying so hard because my mom, it was the first time I was out with my mommy, and so it was so disruptively crying that they put me in the hallway. And then, like, on the first day of kindergarten, I got put to the hallway because I was crying so much. And
That tracks.
not but about 5 minutes later, another kid was crying so bad for his mommy, he got put in the in the hallway, and it was Ron Parson. And we began a lifelong friendship.
I love Ronnie. All right. Look at this. Oh, all right. So this first off.
Wow, that chair's awesome.
Cool. Look, it slides in and out.
Oh, that's rad.
That is cool as heck. So now this.
Oh, that's why it wasn't a seatbelt at all. It was like it's a bendy frame part.
Yeah, it's a frame that goes in. Okay.
I gotta tell you, that might be the coolest console we've seen.
It's pretty cool. So where does this go?
Is that screen painted on, or is that a decal?
It's a decal. All right, so hold on. I got one more piece here. Oh, I see. So this must be for the connection. Okay. All right. So
To the other pieces.
we'll deal with that once we get to the piece. But and we have these two pieces here. We have to connect. Oh, I bet it goes there. Hold on.
That's cool, dude.
Everybody hold on. We got to get this lined up correctly. Yes. So you go here. I got to do it on camera. Come on, Keith. You're on TV. So this goes here. This is a really cool.
When we're grinding.
No. All right, so you go there.
Wouldn't it be awesome if we got a DCM strike on that?
You'd be so proud of that. I think you'd put it on your resume. All right, here we go. So now we're in place, and now the chair goes there. All right, so
Wait, Keith, can I share a story with you and the viewers? Because it's kind of embarrassing, but also glorious.
Okay, well, we all love those.
No, you hold on. You know what?
While Mike goes on his random story.
I'm not going to go on the random
I will-
story. Can we put a pin in this and talk about it on the 200th episode? It's a
Okay.
good story for like the pod.
Okay, great.
Okay, cool.
So
Teaser for next week.
that
Is awesome.
is
that a
awesome.
speaker? Does it talk?
It does talk, and we're going to get there, and then we will review the figure. Don't worry. The sliding in, sliding out chair, that is...
Dude, I'm going to tell you what. I'm super
baller.
jealous about that. Can we I'd like to put some other figures in there.
Well, we're gonna put it together. So the swivel chair, this is what I need in real life.
Like a Geordie or a Data would be cool in there.
No, this is Enterprise, buddy. They weren't even born yet.
I know, but I mean, sometimes, like, I mix medium. All right.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. So, and I've broken it already. Okay, so we are going to, because I actually prepared for today's episode, I am ready to replace these batteries and get our sounds out of this. Ooh, those are looking gnarly. 23-year-old batteries filled with cancer. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Get those out without... Do not eat the batteries, anybody. Those are gnarly. Okay, so I do have some new batteries. So we should be able to hear what this sounds like in Bridge. It's amazing how many of the Playmates ones survived and continued making noises, but those were double A's and not those little whatever the heck those round ones are. All right, so we are now going to assemble this back together. You go there, you go there. We're down together. Okay. There we go. Oops. Come on, get in there. Oh, God, it's all going to hell. Mike, we're going to need some music.
Baby wham.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, we've had royalty-free tracks playing this whole time, brought to you by Envato.com.
Oh, there you go.
So in this period of time, perhaps it will speed up. But I might forget, too, since we're recording 2 episodes today. So it might
That's
just be
true.
us chatting here.
Oh, my God. This was going so... Now tell your story, because I got to take 45 minutes to get this back in.
No, it's going to be just like at the snap of my fingers, this will be fixed.
Okay, so we are back reassembled, and it is now time to debut the noises.
So good, I
mean-
might use it as our white noise for our Deep Space Nine show, Keith.
That's good and loud. Hold on, let me see if I can get it closer to the mic.
Captain, I'm detecting a ship
Dead astern. Battles. Wow.
It's pulled right from an episode, I guess.
And okay, all right. Well, look, I have to point out, as I always do. Did my immediate blood relatives create those noises? Yes. Are they getting royalties off of this? No.
Do you know that I was reading that the technology to compress those sounds onto such small little chips and diodes has not really advanced in the intervening years much.
No, because it's crazy. I mean, I understand like that they had to compress it down to like 4-bit or whatever to get it to fit on a tiny little chip that cheap. But these days,
yeah,
like the space, who cares? It should sound perfect now.
I watched the whole
honestly.
YouTube. I wish I could remember the channel. It's one of those channels that these people do like broadcast quality work and Ken Burns level research on these topics to make these documentaries on YouTube. Anyway, it was a whole thing on chip on that like bit chip music for like old NES games and ROMs and such.
Oh, sure.
And just the level of genius and full orchestral composition that took place, but it never got its full due because it was just coming out of bit tunes. You know what I mean?
Basically MIDI. Yeah.
It was like MIDI, 16-channel MIDI. 16 instrument MIDI.
All right.
Anyway.
So now let us review the figure.
30 minutes
itself.
later, we get to the figure.
That's what I'm saying. So this is to Paul.
Whom I keep thinking in my head, I confuse with T'Pring, but very different.
But also Vulcan.
But Vulcan, yeah.
Also Vulcan. Yeah. So this is the good art Asylum articulation. So we have a lot of articulation. So we have hand, we have elbow, we have shoulder, we have other shoulder, whatever the second shoulder thing is. Continuing our discussion about the articulation, we have another interesting one here where you have sort of knee-thigh articulation here that is there, but it looks kind of stuck, and I'm not going to force it. If you can see right here.
Do you think, is that to allow her to sit?
To turn in and turn out, I think. Which is cool. Great feet articulation. And this is that rubber, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sort of rubbery texture. So that feels so it hardens down here below this seam. But this is, excuse me, to Paul. I will try to be respectful on where I'm checking for rubber. Sort of below here and here, you have that softer rubber, which has survived the 22 years since this figure was made, which I appreciate. Good. I think the facial sculpt, it's okay. It's not, from the side it's better than from the front, but it's all right.
The painting's not like flawless.
Yeah, I mean, it's because this wasn't 3D printed. This was actually sculpted and probably had to be hand painted or something close to it at that point. But the articulation is great. And I mean, it's a cool figure, and it's nice to have T'Pol in her regular thing. So can she sit at her?
I mean, that's what we need. I need to see her in that seat. That chair is so cool.
So we have to. No, I'm worried about messing up the rubber there, but
she's sitting in her like 90s Office Max chair.
That's right. So she doesn't fully. She's more of a sloucher. She's chill. I mean, those Vulcans famous for being chill, right? So she is, but she can sit and
okay.
She can sit-ish.
I'm sure with more manipulation on your part, we could make it better.
Yeah. Oh, she does have waist. She just doesn't have the ab crunch, as they talk about. And so, that's an unfortunate dumper. But yeah. So, I mean, it's a decent figure. It's not like perfect, but
I would say that
decent.
I'm much higher on the console.
Yeah, console. And you also see a lot of the design from Enterprise itself, because this was done before Kirk. There's a lot more tactile feel of like our contemporary military.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have this hand. It's not like a future handrail. It's just a handrail that we would have today, which sets it in its time period. All right, so for our finale of this, we are going to connect it to Archer's console, which is here. So now we've got the wings, and so this connects here through the wing and goes like so. One would assume, yes. There we go.
Like a glove?
Thing that doesn't do it very well. Let me see here. There we are. So it's got to go there. All right. We did it. So now you have T'Pol set. You know what? That's really cool.
That is cool.
I'm definitely going to have to get the other one just to complete the 3. And so you put Archer in there, and you have the 3 of them. And actually, I was wondering about the height difference. Yeah, that's about right.
Did they release the figure without the console, or just not even that figure?
I believe you can. Well, I have a Merryweather figure that would have come with the other console. So there's the third wing here. Sorry, T'Pol, that would go here is available. I have to get my hands on
just
that.
Not the fourth that completes
It's the Merryweather one coming down the front here.
So does anyone have this 3D printed or have that accessible? Because we need to see the complete. We need to do it.
Yeah, I feel like Like JD maybe has that. Maybe Chris Mitchell's working on one. I don't know.
Because then we're gonna then we have to do an episode where we connect. We complete the circle that had never been completed.
We have to complete it because that's really, really cool. So yeah, so there you are. Poor financial decision, awesome shelf decision. Because like, how good is this going to look on my shelf?
Can we fire up both the sounds now?
Well, only one of them has batteries in it.
Okay.
But I did check. It does work, and they are similar sort of a sound dealies. So there you are. Let me see if I'll take the figures out and try to give you this a little bit of a head on here so you can see it there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, that's cool, right?
Yeah, that's really cool.
Really, really cool. Because I got to show Sean this.
I like the weathering and stuff. I mean, it looks the set looks really cool.
It's a really interesting set. It's very, not super Trek. So if you're expecting sort of the the lobby of the Hilton that the D is, this is very different than that. But it's pretty cool. So yeah.
I think
there you go.
Paul's console play set is the cooler half too.
It's for sure. I mean, I love the captain's chair, but still very, very cool. So yeah, so there you go. Thank you to all who watched. Sorry to all who winced. That is the Broken Bow Deluxe to Paul Bridge set. Very cool, very fun. I look forward to showing Mike Enterprise.
Yeah,
one of these days.
We'll get there. We'll be old.
After Voyage, we're going to be very, very old.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun. All right. So thank you. Join at patreon.com/K&M. Mike can pop up that Patreon slide. There we go.
There's a ton of them, and I won't belabor reading them because it'll go badly. I've tried. But you can, I'll leave it up here on the screen. We thank everybody, especially our new patrons. It's really humbling that there's actually a second page, I believe. I just don't have it on this show.
Oh yes, of our Patron Hall of Fame, of course.
Yeah. But we'll show that next time.
Nice. Oh, such good. So I can't believe you know how a show like us gets to 200 episodes because no one can cancel us. Yeah. We're on YouTube.
That's it. That's the answer.
We literally cannot be canceled. Or like a cockroach of a show. All right. So thank you, everybody, very much. We will see you back here next episode with a very special one, and then an even more special one after that. Till then, this has been... Look at my Star Trek toys!